Welcome back, boys and girls. Today we're going to read about the Potawatomi. And the Potawatomi is one of the tribes from the Three Fires. And the same thing that we did yesterday, we are going to use our data collection sheet. And we want to find basically the same information, but it will be different because it's a different tribe, like we did yesterday. So I'm going to highlight my first box yellow. Where did they live in Michigan? And I need you to do the same. So either use a split screen, or you're going to go back and forth, or you can print this out. And then I'm going to highlight the next one in orange. What were their houses like? Because I want to find information about what they lived in. There we go. And the next one is red. What did they eat? Do you think they ate the same thing as the Ojibwa? We will find out today. Think about it. They're all living in Michigan, and they're all using the same natural resources. So there might be some things that are the same, and then there's going to be some things that are a bit different. And then what was special about them? We will use pink. We're going to use our pink highlighter for what was special about them. There we go. And then we are going to use our lime green highlighter here. What did they make? So what kind of things did they make? All right, now that we have our data collection sheet all colored in, we know what colors we're going to use when we look for information. So the first thing that says, where did they live in Michigan? So in our first read, if we hear that, we can highlight that. The Potawatomi. The Potawatomi lived at one time in the southwest section of Michigan. I'm going to highlight southwest section. Then they spread out and moved to other areas, such as the land around what is now the city of Saginaw. Of the three groups, the Potawatomi were known as the best farmers. They grew more of their own food than any other two groups. Crops included squash, corn, melons, and beans, and they also used maple sap and maple syrup and sugar. They lived in villages, but moved their villages with the seasons. In the warm months, they lived near rivers and lakes, in round wigwams, or in rectangular lodges. In the winter, the villages often broke up into small groups of families that moved into the forest where the hunting was good. The Potawatomi used canoes for fishing and going short distances, but they did not travel by water as much as the other two groups. Like the other two groups, the Potawatomi used sleds and snowshoes in winter, and they were well known for their quill embroidery, basketry, and beadwork. All right, so where did they live, boys and girls? Yes, in the southwest section of Michigan, then they moved around this area near Saginaw. Now remember, this was Saginaw area back before anyone had settled here, so it was all woods and very natural. It wasn't like the city you see today. So I'm going to say the south. Oops. Let's get a. There we go. Southwest. Let's see. What'd they say? The southwest section of Michigan. We're going to use those same words. Michigan moved up around Saginaw. Okay. And then what were their houses like? That's going to be orange. Let's find out what their houses were like. They were best known for farmers. They grew more of their own food than the other two groups. Crops included squash, corn, melons, and beans. They had maple syrup and sugar. They lived in villages. I think I could probably highlight villages because they lived in villages. We're going to put that yellow. But they moved their villages with the seasons. I'm going to put that in yellow too, because that goes with where they lived. In the warm months, they lived near rivers and lakes. Okay, and now here's their homes. So I'm going to switch to orange. And they lived in round wigwams or rectangular lodges. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to add some more information here. I'm going to say around, where did they live? Around rivers and lakes. And then I can put, they lived in villages, moved with the seasons. There we go. And then for housing, I can put wigwams. And we remember those are round homes built with poles and covered in birch bark. And then it said rectangular lodging. And it doesn't really describe that rectangular lodging, so that might be another research question that we use later. Okay. What did they eat? I think I saw something about their food up here. We're going to switch that to red. What did they eat? They were best known for farmers. They grew more of their own food than the other two groups. Crops included squash, corn, melons, and beans. They used maple sap to make maple syrup and sugar. All right, so that's what they, that is what they grew, but I also know they were hunting, so wild game, fishing, so fish, right? So those are some things that we have to infer that they would, if they went fishing, they would eat fish and wild games. Let's go to pink. What was special about them? Well, one thing that they were best known for farmers. They were known as the best farmers, and they grew more of their own food than the other two groups, right? So they were known for that. Okay, so that would be pink. And let's go to what did they make? What did they make? Well, let's see. They used sleds and snowshoes in the winter. They were well known for their quill embroidery, basketry, and beadwork. All right, so they made quill embroidery, baskets, and beadwork. I might even there we go. All right, so do you see that? That is all highlighted for you, and that is what you're going to add to your data collection sheet. Okay, so I'm going to let you add your own facts today. If there's anything else that you want to add to your notes, that's fine. Remember, that is the Potawatomi, and you are to make sure that you get that back to your teacher. Let's see. Potawatomi. Make sure you put their name there. All right, so boys and girls, have fun reading and learning more about the